Let's see who's going to dominate Legacy. It's time for the final of Grand Prix Indianapolis 2012. Hello everyone, welcome to the final. It's Grand Prix Indianapolis, Alan Hockman and Pastimes Events in association with Wizards of the Coast and GG's Live. Great to be with you here. Rich Hagan, Sheldon Menery have been here all weekend long watching the majesty of Legacy. There you see Tom Martell made it all the way to the final for the second time. He has made the final of Grand Prix Columbus in 2010, and there is Kenny CASTOR, who Stifle on Candelabra at Tornos ultimately put paid to the challenge of High Tide and Colin Chilbert in the semi-finals. So now only these two remain. Sheldon, we know the matchup, we know the players. Who do you take?
I'm going to go with the hot player. I'm going to go with Tom Martell. Like I said, I think I would be playing Kenny's deck against Tom's, but I'm going to count on Tom bringing us through.
Okay. Ponder will begin for Kenny.
As a matter of fact, I think sometime yesterday or early today, you and I were picking our guys, and Tom Martell was my grab. So I'm gonna dance with the girl who brung me.
Seems very fair. Ponder finishes resolving. In turn one of the final for Tom Martell is a Flooded Strand heading straight to the graveyard. And I believe he has a Lingering Souls in hand, which has been conspicuous by its absence in the top 8 thus far.
So if he's gotten this far without playing his best card, and again, that island there not being a dual land, probably definitely a nod to Kenny's packing 4 Wastelands.
Yeah, other than maybe something like Ravnica Limited, or maybe once you get into Lorwyn with 5-color control with all the Vivid lands, I can't really remember a time where you've needed more to pay attention to what lands you have, what lands you play, what lands you represent, what colors you're prepared to offer up as sacrificial lambs. It's extremely intricate in terms of mana, despite the fact that the mana bases are so incredibly robust.
Volcanic Island in a Tarmogoyf for Kenny CASTOR. We also see that he has a Wasteland in his hand.
It's got Daze, Lightning Bolt, a couple of land.
Tundra into Stoneforge Mystic. What's he going to get, Rich?
I assume this is just Batterskull. I mean, the Jitty seems to be purely against really little men, because you want to be able to kill off hierarchs and such. So I'm presuming that this is, ta-da, Batterskull.
Jace there for Tom Martell. So Tom Martell currently 2-3. So I'm sorry.
Stoneforge Mystic
3-4.
Gone away.
Yep.
Yeah, because we have creature, we have sorcery, we have instant, we have land. Right?
There's the Wasteland.
So don't worry, Tom Martell is not at 19 right now. Just a little breakdown in communication. Yeah, the Tarmogoyf was 4-5.
And there's his brother.
Wow. So I believe that will send Martell to 11, facing already 8.
Clock is ticking relatively quickly. We know that this being game 1, he's not packing those parishes that served him so well.
Didn't they just? Yeah, so Martell is at 11. He's facing 8 on the table. Not quite dead on the desk.
But he really has.
Tower of the Magistrate.
Doesn't look like he has enough timely answers.
pass the turn. That was a red card drawn by Kenny CASTOR. Okay, so I'm going to flash out Snapcaster Mage, try and get some value out of something over there, but it's just send something in the way.
That's just a speed bump.
Martell to 7. Wasteland reaches out for the Tower of the Magistrate. Tom Martell, 2 land. This is going to be done very, very soon, like now.
So, game 1 to Kenny CASTOR, as we talked about.
There he is. Yep, every bit as happy as when he won the semi-final. One of the things I simultaneously love about the game of Magic, and it also perhaps scares me, is a little strong because it doesn't scare me as such, but here they are, they're playing for a trophy, and they've played all these games of Magic, and the distance from here to playing for another trophy is absurd for the loser.
Okay.
Right? The winner gets the trophy.
Right.
So someone's like a minute away from the trophy.
Right.
The other guy is a week away from round 4,
Right.
if he's lucky,
Right.
and then has to go
All through the grind
12,
again.
2, and 1 or better
Yep.
across a completely different format with the vicissitudes of life.
Yes.
In order to then be in the position he's in right this minute of being 1 or 2 games away from a trophy. And one of the things that went in the conversation about the best player of all time, one of the things that no one will ever want to trust have over Kai is that when he got within 74 miles of winning an event,
Yeah.
he won that event. The ones he didn't win were where he was a distant last. 0-2 drop, 1-3 drop, 4-4 don't make day 2.
Yeah, you don't beat Kai on Sunday.
Was the thing, right? And it's not just anecdotal. He played in 10 Pro Tour top 8s. He won 7. He's meant to win 1 and a bit.
Right.
Statistically,
Right.
even allowing for him being better than other people.
Yeah.
He's meant
2
to
maybe,
win
yeah.
2 of those 10, 1 in 5, 3. He won 7. And that's absurd. And I think part of that is that he understood, not necessarily better than anyone else, but boy did he ever know what it took to be in the position to lift the trophy. And he didn't want to go through it all again without lifting the trophy, so he just made sure he did.
Right.
So right now, Kenny CASTOR and Tom Martell are in that position.
There you see the brackets. Kenny CASTOR came through Caleb Durward, really close match in the mirror match.
Yep.
Then passed Colin Chilbert in a thrilling match against High Tide. Tom Martelli on the other side. We watched him in a very swingy match against Pascal Maynard. There were quite a few momentum changes, especially in Game 3.
Terrific quarter.
Yeah, just a really good game of theater magic. Dan Jordan beat Adam Yurchik again on the last turn, squeezing through, then fell to Martell. And here we are.
Here we are indeed. Martell CASTOR, one of them will break their duck and lift a trophy. Second Grand Prix top 8
Break
for CASTOR.
their duck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's definitely Queen's English.
Okay. One of them will lift a trophy for the first time.
Yes. Yeah, I got the implication.
Yeah, I know. I knew you understood. You just didn't know the phrase.
What did that duck ever do to you?
Yeah, yes.
Poor duck.
Oh, I see. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I can see that. It isn't. Yeah, breaking. No, that's not what. Anyway, so
It'd be an interesting etymology to look up to see where the phrase came from.
yeah. Do you know that's one of the columns I really regret leaving MagicTheGathering.com. In the very, very earliest days of MagicTheGathering.com, I don't even think they did it in Duelist particularly. They did. I can't remember what it was called, but it was an etymology.
So where'd the phrase come from?
It explained where all the card names came from, the ones you really didn't didn't know. And, like, you know, Katabatic winds, for example, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, well, do you know who knows that? Geologists and magic players.
Right.
I won a quiz once in a room full of like 100 people on the question of what in nature is Katabatic to do with? I just pictured the card in my mind. I went, yeah, that'll be wind then. Everyone else was busy messing around with rain and snow and sleet. I'm like, no, my friends.
There was a magic card. We were playing a game of Balderdash.
Yep. Great game.
And a magic, something in a magic card name came up. And unfortunately was playing with 4 or 5 other magic players. So we just pitched the card and we went to it.
Yeah, we all know that's easy. Yeah, but there are some fabulous words out there that are on magic cards, and I love finding out that, you know, some of them were 11th century Scottish and so on, and a lot of knowledge and love goes into the naming. Here we go then. CASTOR against Martell, 1-up to CASTOR.
CASTOR's hand looks a little weakish, although I see 2. I think I saw 2 Force of Will. I see fetch land and plains for Tom and a Tundra there, so he's got 3 land. He's mulling it over though.
Kenny does win. We'll have to remind our text colleagues to take the winning trophy shot. We'll have to snap, CASTOR, Mage.
Still not allowed to hit him, right, Rashad?
That is correct. You don't need to ask him, you need to ask me, and you're not allowed. It's not. We're always on air, always on camera. I can see me on the monitor.
Right, there's recorded evidence.
Yeah. Game rule violation for me. Failure to maintain game state for you. All right. Let's get to it.
Oh, another Wasteland, which was a somewhat significant card in the previous game.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Nimble Mongoose.
So 1/7 of the way to 7 being the magic number. 7 the magic number in Goblin Charbelcher, of course, but also here getting to Threshold. For Rug Delver, or Canadian Threshold as it initially was. Big shout out, hello to David Kaplan, by the way. Sorry not to see you here. Very fine player over recent times. Made a big leap from the Eternal formats. Jumped in with both feet over the last 6 months and done very well for himself. Sorry not to see you here from the great nation of Canada.
So you see Tom playing around those wastelands by getting the basics.
Mongoose attacks for 1. Here's Delver. See a Force of Will in CASTOR's hand. None in Martell's hand right now. He has a Swords to Plowshares. Got Lingering Souls. Land number 3 is vulnerable to Wasteland. Here is Lingering Souls. That's possibly the kind of thing that Kenny wants to argue about. Yeah. Ooh, Force Pitch Force. I'm not sure he wanted to argue with it that much.
Well, maybe that's a real sign to the value of the Lingering Souls. To how highly players esteem the Lingering Souls. Delver of Secrets does not transform this turn. He only swings in for 2. There's the Wasteland for Tundra and another Delver of Secrets. So Kenny CASTOR still has only played 2 lands here. He's got another one in his hand.
Yep.
But these are 3 pretty spicy 1-drops.
Potentially. They're currently all miserable. They're 1/1 vanillas for 1.
Yes, if Tom has Zealous Persecution right now, this game is very different.
Yeah. Coming soon, however, 3 really spicy 1-drops. That I give you. So let's flash back Lingering Souls. then let Swords the Delver before it can transform, and before you could decide not to let me have my swords, before you see another card. Let's just get it dead.
Unfortunately for Tom, I think Kenny just drew a replacement.
Yep. Delver, Mongoose, Mongoose, Delver versus
Again,
Soul.
Zealous Persecution becomes crazy value
Yes.
for Tom Martell right now.
It's funny, for all we've talked about it, I've not seen it at any point in the weekend from him.
Mm-hmm.
Sure has it, but never seen it. So there's Martell. Lays land number 4.
He's got a Stoneforge Mystic. I gotta think that the Stoneforge Mystic is gotta come out and go for the GT.
I mean, the thing is, if the Delvers transform, then those Lingering Souls aren't getting through. If they don't transform, and Martell does indeed go for GT, and then equips, and then actually gets to hit next turn and get through, then carnage could ensue. But Batterskull delivers you life gain regardless.
Fair.
It just... And I'm not saying that to imply that Batterskull is the correct play here, just that there is that to weigh up. He gets Jitty.
I think it's his only path to victory in this game.
Okay.
As the board stands now, obviously.
Yep.
He doesn't know the one card that Kenny CASTOR has in his hand is Lightning Bolt, and he's probably going to hold that for whatever the GT gets equipped to.
Yeah. And Brainstorm on the top means that those not very good 1/1s are now very spicy.
They are indeed.
The spiciest insectile aberration cocktail in the world.
Yeah,
Pair of 3/2s.
The window was open for Martell there. I think CASTOR has slid it slightly shut.
Yeah.
And now with the Brainstorm, he's got a lot of control. He's got the control over the top of his library. Fetch land, Force of Will.
It's like Force of Will going back on top. Cast a laser land. And will beat through the air, theoretically for 6. Martell can kill one off with the double block.
Which gets CASTOR closer to threshold.
Indeed.
And makes those Mongoose tougher to deal with.
Yep. Well, what do? Do you fall to 9 and pretend the Lingering Souls aren't there?
Well, again, that lightning bolt is going to be a huge difference maker here, because the GT could provide some board control, but it's whatever he tries to equip it to is just going to get killed.
But also potentially here, if Martell does double block, Kenny can reach out and turn that into a blowout trade, where he keeps both insectiles, but then, as you say, is the more pressing requirement to deal with the jizzy that he knows Martell has. Martell's also got Snapcaster Mage in hand, which at some point, once he gets to 3 mana, he'll be able to flashback Swords to Plowshares.
Right. I mean, there's a line where he kills one of them and then brings in Snapcaster to Swords the other one.
Mm-hmm. Legacy. A lot going on.
Yeah, these... and you know, the fact that Tom still has, and Tom and Kenny both, they seem like they have plenty in the tank. That they could play best of 7 or best of 9, and they'd be ready to go.
Please don't.
No, please don't.
So Martell has taken it. He's taken all 6, left his Lingering Souls tokens back, not exactly on D, because they didn't bother with the D. He's at 9. Probably not functionally at 6, because Kenny's likely to need that lightning bolt for more pressing matters than a third of Martell's life total.
Right.
So the 9 is probably a hard 9, if you will. A land here would be pretty useful, which he has.
Looks like he's got a scrub land and a fetch land.
Yeah, because 5 represents the ability to snap caster at some point, and the Swords to Plowshares, and Mystic.
Yeah.
So this is one of those things we talked about, the number of lands. Mm-hmm. This is where 5 is so infinitely greater than 4 in this particular situation for Martell.
I think now his part of his math is, do I equip the GT and just start getting counters on it?
One wonders, though, why he didn't block, unless part of that is, I imagine that you've got some burn there somewhere and you're going to blow me out with that, and that therefore he will be factoring in the likelihood of the GT equipping and hitting successfully, and in this fantasy scenario, killing both Nimble Mongoose when he then removes counters and so on.
Right.
It seems relatively unlikely, and in fact,
can he CASTOR 5th card toward Threshold?
He's going to just pass,
which changes everything for Tom, which changes everything for Kenny.
Sure.
Because now once he gets Threshold turned on, he's just getting into the red zone.
Oh, yes. Untap. CASTOR at 18, Martell at 9. CASTOR needs this for everything. Martell needs this to have another go in Game 3. Another Nimble Mongoose. If you want to counter it, you can give me a 6th card.
Yeah. Well, one of the problems with using the GT to kill one Mongoose. Oh, you can't. Sorry, never mind. They're shroudy.
Yeah.
Snapcaster.
Swords. Go away, 3/2 flyer. CASTOR just stoically re-sleeves the Delver.
Now he's got to decide whether he double blocks or not.
We know that with that lightning bolt that we've been talking about for a long time, that won't necessarily be the value.
So if you're in this situation and he double blocks, do you bolt?
So
he's just taking the 6. I mean, taking the 3, going to 6. If he double blocks
so
there,
there's Jitty.
Do you bolt the 1, or do you wait for the?
I would imagine you bolt it, don't you?
You get him to spend mana to try to equip the.
Sure. Yep. Martell is at 6. He's got Jace the Mind Sculptor. going to try to equip. And it's pretty likely that whatever he aims at is not going to occur the way he wants.
Good news is for him, he has the mana to re-equip.
Sure. Attack. Lightning bolt.
Obviously, Kenny waiting until he declares his attack means that he can't re-equip and get combat damage value out of it.
Yep. So the Lingering Souls no longer lingers.
Yeah, that makes things far more difficult for Tom Martell.
6 cards in CASTOR's graveyard. And for all we call it Rug Delver.
It's Rogue Threshold.
Yeah. And...
Uh-oh.
Oh, really?
The glasses have come off.
That is what I call body language.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, the hand to the face, I think, is a little...
He has been so good this weekend. But he is looking at trouble across the table. Could be Threshold for the win. But Kenny Castor. 4th at Grand Prix Denver 2008. Here in his second top 8. Already assured a place at the Pro Tour. Why Tom Martell is such a mainstay.
I think Martell's only out is Perish.
Yeah, Zealous Persecution still does
yeah.
things, but functionally...
I'm assuming we're going to get Threshold turned on.
Sure.
I mean,
yeah, sure.
Because again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6.
6. If he kills the Insectile Aberration, there's Threshold.
Yep.
And there's a lot of cards in Kenny's deck that go to the graveyard when he casts them.
Oh, yeah. So, Martell, with 4 mana and 2 cards left, is going to spend 3 of them for Vendilion Click, and he's going to target himself, see that Jace the Mind Sculptor is left, and he's going to draw something else.
Which we didn't get a glimpse of.
Smash. There's a Misty Rainforest for Kenny Castor that will turn on Threshold. Oh, carnage here in the final. Martell has 4 guys. Somehow he needs to keep some of them there so that Jitty can equip and do something.
And then, again...
And then start coming back into it. In the face of what he now knows is certain Threshold via the Misty Rainforest.
Mm-hmm.
So Vendilion Click will trade for 1. Lingering Souls and Snapcaster together would deal with another.
And then it's just Chump Block on the 3rd.
Chump Block on the 3rd, take 3, fall to 3, Insectile Aberration still in play. This is assuming that the card in Martell's hand is not something useful like a Swords to Plowshares.
Right.
So he can, of course, do the double chump or the triple chump and actually just put the Lingering Soul token in front of the Insectile Aberration if he wants. And on this particular occasion, take literally nothing.
Yeah, that doesn't get him anywhere.
Nope.
He needs,
surely
he needs a dude to get something out of GT.
But I mean, he doesn't. It's miserable whatever way you slice it.
Looking pretty good for Kenny Castor right now.
Yeah, like you say, he keeps the Lingering Souls back, equips with the Jitty, so that's what he's going to do. There's Threshold for Kenny. All but 1 Lingering Soul token has gone. Do you know what would be really good here? Lingering Souls. Wouldn't be hideous,
It
right?
wouldn't be
Because
hideous.
there would be 4.
Right.
He's got enough to just do it in flashback.
Oh.
Sorry about that. I'm just going to throw your cards on the floor. Martell at 3.
Well, if he's got Lingering Souls, he draws Lingering Souls. I think he still equips up the Jite so they can kill the flyer.
Sure. But depending what that card is that's in hand.
Right.
So let's argue that it's either a land or a Lingering Souls. He then gets to 7 mana and can go Souls, Souls, equip, hit, kill the Insectile, and he then has 4 guys back, 3 of which trade for 1 of the Nimble Mongoose, the 4th of which just gets in the way of the other.
Yeah,
he stays at 2.
I think he's still kind of in Hail Mary territory.
You didn't think what I said was Hail Mary territory? Felt like a lot of ifs, ands, and buts to me.
There's his draw. Jace was his draw. There's the Parish.
Really?
We have a game.
Oh, seriously. Seriously. Perish. Equip. Hit. Kill.
We have a game of Magic, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to the finals.
Until Kenny Castor peels the lightning bolt.
And we'll be so disappointed. The thing is, if this hits, he then gets to put counters on and can gain life. In response to lightning bolt, he gets out of range of burn.
Yep. Like I said a few turns ago, I think Parish was his only out there. Now he's going to cast the Jace.
And Fate Seal Kenny?
That's a dangerous game.
Well, sure. Oh, that was great. Jace the Mind Sculptor.
No, I think he's got. I can't see his. Again, we can't see his hand. I think he's got a Jace, and I mean he's got a. Yeah, he is going to Fate Seal.
He goes to Fate Seal. It's a blue card we can see. Don't know what it is.
Gonna leave it there.
Gonna let Kenny have it. Thanks. Oh. Pass the turn. Do you remember when Jitty used to just dominate everything?
Yep.
That's what's happening here now.
A little more spring in Martell's step right now.
The glasses back on? Can't actually quite see. No, he's gone for the full-on no glasses action. I guess the glasses were half empty and now they're half full.
I knew you were going there.
And couldn't stop me in time.
Couldn't stop me in time.
Good.
Hang on, let's not run too fast. He says
Chase up to 7.
There's no
4.
There's certainly no Croson Grip or anything in Kenny's deck. Is that a Snapcaster?
It's a ponder.
It's a ponder.
Well, that's a ponder. I don't know whether there's a Snapcaster there. Let's look at the top 3. We'll find another Perish.
Really on a sort of a weak angle to see.
And a Brainstorm, I believe. So I'll treasure the memory of both of us leaning round the monitor to get a better view of the cards in hand on the right. That was savagely dire.
All right, the lingering soul token back in. It's only 1 a turn, but he's ticking up the counters on.
Chases up to 9. Yeah, you can have that land.
Right.
No, really, you can.
That's another damage I don't have to do.
You were right about Snapcaster, by the way. I believe that is in Martell's hand. Here's Lingering Souls. Here's. Can I read? Oh, that sounds good.
Kenny Castor makes the tossing Lingering Souls away motion.
Yeah.
And now the clock is significantly sped up.
Oh, just quick. Martell up to 6. we're going to get a Game 3, you know it.
Well, here on GG's Live, we seek to give the most value that we can. You know, you tuned in for a 3-game match. You're going to get looks like we might get a 3-game match.
And it's so much more fun when it isn't WWE. Where it's really happening, and you only get Game 3 if Martell makes all the right moves and finds the perish. Oh.
Okay, here comes an army of souls.
Smash.
Yeah, is there a... Give a dude +2/+2 here?
Stoneforge Mystic. Yeah, I'll counter that. Oh, good.
Another counter he doesn't have to deal with.
Pass the turn. Jace at 9. Jitty at many. Martell at 6. Castor at 11. Castor at 1. Martell at 0. Shortly.
There we go.
Martell at 1.
Epic game of Magic right here on GG's Live.
I don't know why those people aren't applauding. Because I thought that was a startling game of Magic the Gathering.
Well, he's got to do, Tom Martell's got to do the math there and understand that he can't kill one. He needs to leave one of his guys back so he can get the Jitte moving.
Perish the life we live. Should perish the life we had.
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely crazy Magic. And it is 1-1 in the final of Grand Prix Indianapolis 2012. Rich Hagan, Sheldon Menery with you here in the booth. And it has been an extraordinary weekend. I hope that many of you, perhaps a lot of you, are coming to Legacy for the first time. You don't get to watch it every single weekend. You're kind of not really quite sure where to start with it. I hope you can see the absolute majesty of this format. Rashad Miller, Legacy.
I am impressed by all the powerhouses. Look at all the years of Magic, and you see cards like Lingering Souls just taking over the format. Oh, I mean, Jace the Mind Sculptor. Wait. Delver. Stoneforge Mystic, yeah. Flooded Strand.
That card's really good.
That one's pretty old.
Yeah.
You know,
Brainstorm.
there we go. There's a staple.
Force of Will.
Force of Will, Brainstorm. Those cards with the where you can't quite find a mint one anymore. They all have the played crack in the middle where everyone's shuffling. That's when you know you're playing Legacy. Hi, I'm in the booth.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm Rich Hagan. He's Rashad Miller.
Yeah, I just figured I'd stop by just to, get a better view of the shuffling techniques.
Lend a hand.
Just a little hand. So, this has been a great weekend of Legacy, great weekend of Magic. I am...
Do you know what? Yes, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
About both of those. But I think of the two, it's been a great weekend of Magic is perhaps more significant because there are lots of people who run around who think of Legacy as something that is in a box all by itself, and although it uses Magic cards, that there is an element of snobbishness about Legacy as a format for some people who they kind of go, oh, well, I don't know all those old cards, and they're just like people running around with their dual lands and their fetch lands, and I don't really know what's going on, and it's all light over by turn 2, it's all combo decks and stuff. And this hasn't just been a great weekend if you're a Legacy connoisseur who gets to spend a weekend enjoying Legacy. It's been a great weekend of Magic, period. And I think that is revelatory to a lot of people who don't necessarily involve themselves in Legacy all that often.
Well, I think it doesn't matter what the format is. When there's a GP in town and all of the best players come to play whatever format it is, we're going to see great Magic. We're seeing great white Magic this weekend, last weekend. I bet you after last weekend, people who thought Sealed Deck was not a great format, after watching some of those games, those were some amazing matches in Sealed Deck last weekend.
Mm-hmm. Let's hope we have some more just 6 days away in Nashville, Tennessee. That's where the Global Circus heads next. We'll be there for that. Who's coming along to that one? Who have we got?
It's a blur.
You don't know?
Wait.
Is that what you're saying?
I'll be there.
I'll be there. That's 2.
Oh, wow. That was easy.
You and me.
Nate Price.
I know him.
Ben Schwartz. I did it.
Ben Schwartz. Awesome. Great stuff.
Okay, I'm going to let somebody who knows a lot more about life back into this seat.
You saying he's old? No answer. Just a rolling eyeball from Rashad Miller.
You know what I tell the guys, the young guys at the shop. You know what's worse than being old?
Go on.
Getting beaten up by the old guy.
Very nice.
Rashad Miller certainly knows a lot more about Magic than I do.
Yeah.
But I will confess to being the bon vivant.
Is that 6?
I believe Tom Martell has gone to 6.
It is.
And he's got 2 brainstorms and 1 land, which is a keep.
So we begin. The final game, we positively guarantee the final game of Magic this weekend. It's between Kenny Castor and Tom Martell, both of the United States. There's Tom Martell, there's Kenny Castor, and Ponder is the first play of that final game. Castor looking overwhelming favourite to claim the title 2-0. Martell found the perish when he needed it. And I'm sure there are people going, oh, he was so lucky to find the perish, he only had 2. Most people would have been dead long before the opportunity to find a perish on top of the deck.
Good Magic players make luck.
Yeah.
They put themselves in situations where
luck is available
to them. Right.
A second ponder of the game is for Castor after Tom Martell passes.
See that force of will there.
But as we know, Tom Martell is lining up for an end-of-turn brainstorm. So it's not like he's not done anything with turn 1. He's just postponed it a little for the end step of Kenny Castor's second turn. Been in a cathedral of sporting excellence all weekend long here at Lucas Oil Stadium, home of the Indianapolis Colts, the American football team.
You did see the Colts play last year, right?
Historically, they've been tremendous.
Last year they were awful.
I know. But here, in our sporting arena, where only 2 remain, we've also seen a lot of excellence.
We certainly
and a
have.
couple of successful Hail Marys.
Right. Definitely done, sir.
I've even seen some instant replay.
That's right. Yeah, all we need now is for a player to take a cheap shot at somebody, and we've got the NFL experience.
Or maybe throwing that card on the floor and it's like... So the brainstorm has resolved for Martell. Perish is in hand. And we go back to Castor. Another Brainstorm, end of turn from Martell. That resolves. 1, 2, 3. See, another Brainstormer, Jace the Mind Sculptor, a Swords to Plowshares, Perish, Land, there you see the Swords to Plowshares on the right of Martell's hand. Looks like engineered explosives in there as well. So he has 8 cards as the Brainstorm continues to resolve. So that will go down to 6. Looks like he's made his choice now. Checks once more.
Yeah, there's no sense at this point to rush through anything.
No,
Make
but
sure
timely fashion continues to be a factor.
Okay, Stoneforge Mystic might
not
find a
occur.
battle.
Suppose we say no. Okay. Suppose you do.
Remember Martell down a card.
Yeah, CASTOR passed there with literally nothing doing. It's interesting that he hasn't cracked either his Scalding Tarn nor his Misty Rainforest, which is what would help him find another land should he wish, just to avoid thinning the
Third
land.
Brainstorm.
Yep. And this is super cagey from both of them.
We see Snapcaster in Martell's hand.
Worth remembering that these two are closing in on 12 hours worth of magic today. 9 a.m. We got back into the action.
That is engineered explosives.
Yep,
That I see there in Tom
Oh, yeah.
Martell's hand.
it is. Because again, that's a way to not target things.
Right. There's a lot of thinking going on here.
And the thing is, there's a lot of thinking going on here. I'm sorry if we're being a bit quiet, but the atmosphere here has changed markedly. Not least because it's getting into the evening and the drafts are winding down, the other public events are winding down for the weekend. But even though we know the players can't hear us here, there is an element of almost not wanting to disrupt, and it's coming from the feature manager that I can see across the hall, where everyone is literally silent around the two players. Now 3 fetch lands for CASTOR.
Certainly he doesn't think he's gonna Jedi mind trick Martell into. There's the stifle. Into forgetting that those fetch lands can give a threshold. As a matter of fact, when CASTOR cracks those 3 fetch lands, he is going to have 7 cards in his graveyard. Actually,
Indeed.
now that the stifle is resolved, he only needs to crack 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Snapcaster Mage. Now CASTOR's going to crack a Misty Rainforest. This seems like it's for the brainstorm.
Yeah, I'm going to fight you. Just a little bit. Okay, says Tom. Yep, that's fine. Still nothing going on. And both players have to be thinking, okay, so what is it that you have? I've seen what you now don't have because
Right.
we've both got big graveyards going on. So what is it that you have? Martell, obviously, has to feel that CASTOR has a bunch of red somewhere.
They're after a CASTOR.
And maybe he's going
Draws.
to try and have a look.
He's going to have a very good look at it, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's his plan. Whether he gets to do that is...
And again, I think we brought this up a couple times this weekend. Vendalion Click, after it does its business of getting the card away from you from your opponent that you want, starts bashing. Threats that, like we saw in the.
What do we got?
Oh, there's a lot of red.
Yeah. So, we've got a Fort Bolt. We've got an Ancient Grudge. We've got double Lightning Bolt. We've got double Daze. And a card just below the rim.
Looks like a fetch land.
Is that just a Scalding Tarn again? Okay. Thank you very much to our spotters elite. So there's just the one Ancient Grudge out of the board, the CASTOR. Forks Bolt has gone away.
There's a Tarmogoyf.
That is the first non-land permanent that's even vaguely hung around in this decider.
Well, Tom knows he can't play the Jace because of the 2 dazes.
Okay. It's also worth remembering that, I mean, he has 7 cards in hand, and this game's got a fair way to go, one presumes.
Mm-hmm.
But Tom is in a position where he's used 3 of his 4 brainstorms to reach this position.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the Hail Mary-esque scenarios down the line, he is less likely to be able to dig. He's done quite a lot of digging to be at parity now.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, he's going to be behind Kenny, who hasn't had a ton of brainstorm action.
Right.
So in a sense, they're level, but without the little bit of turbo boost that Kenny has available to him in terms of the additional card draw, or the additional card filtering. So Martell is going to go for Engineered Explosives. And the first daze is going to occur from Kenny. So Martell will go, okay, I'll pay for that then.
You see, Tom has a Swords of Plowshares in his hand and a Lingering Souls. He's off the white mana.
So Engineered does occur. Of course, an Ancient Grudge then takes that out. And the Tarmogoyf attacks. One imagines for a bunch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is it 5? Artifact, land, instant, sorcery,
Creature.
creature. That's 5. Yep.
Well, once again, I heard you and Rashad talking about it as I came back. I've certainly changed my opinion significantly about Legacy after watching these matches. I mean, I was familiar enough with the format.
Sure.
But watching these matches, watching these 15 rounds of coverage that we've had on GG's Live.
Yep. It's straightforwardly awesome. Let's not muck about. It's just awesome.
It's pretty damn good Magic. I mean, I think Rashad's point is relevant. You know, good Magic players are just going to make good Magic get played.
Sure. Yes, and I imagine watching this done sloppily is pretty miserable.
Right.
Hey, wait, why didn't you? And how about? Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
There's a white source. There's a white source for Martell. But now, again, he's got to make a choice between Lingering Souls and Swords to Plowshares.
A one for one perish, which
Well.
is an interesting one given that Threshold is obviously long ago active for Kenny, and we haven't seen a single Nimble Mongoose
Right.
yet. Force of Will gets revealed, so of course there's going to be a response of Swords your guy. No sense in you gaining more life than you need to.
Right.
And interestingly, Kenny, who was he does eventually draw, just sorting the life total out.
He can hardcast that first one now.
Oh yeah, which is something we talked about right at the start of the weekend. By the way, Force of Will, it actually costs 5. That'd be crazy if that turned out to be relevant in the final. You'd know we'd made that one up.
So the Hive Mind's still the highest CMC spell we've seen hardcast all weekend, right?
I believe that's true. Yes.
I guess Hive Mind and Time Spiral.
Yeah. So, Lingering Souls begins for Martell. Flash it back, days. So don't get the full value. Just get the 2 guys and a card out of Castor's hand.
And get the days out, right?
So here's Brainstorm from Castor, who not only has that additional little bit of power in terms of the bonus brainstorms and so on we discussed, because of those crack lands, fetch lands, has the extra benefit of the brainstorm for the cards he doesn't want. He gets to shuffle them away, which is something you don't necessarily see late in the game, because by and large they've had to crack and do what they need to do. So he does have that little advantage. Here's a wasteland to take out land. Here's Delver. 3 cards in hand for Castor. What a great top 8. Snapcaster Mage drawn for Martell.
Which gives him access back to that Swords to Plowshares.
We are going to see a Jace the Mind Sculptor attempted. And it resolves, and Tom Martell will Fate Seal himself. I believe there is a land there. And he will now decide whether he wants that to come his way later on, which he certainly does. Delver, Force of Will. Let's make my guy 3-2 fly.
Kenny Castor's hand's pretty spicy right now.
Yep. And Martell at 12 is actually a lot closer to dead than 12 traditionally looks.
Well, whichever way this final game turns out, it's been a great weekend of Magic here on GG's Live. These
Hats
guys
off to both of them, giving us a terrific final. What does the last few turns have in store? Still lots of red for Castor.
Is that 3 lightning bolts?
Not sure.
No, it's...
He has 1 Pyroblast, 1 Red Elemental Blast in the board. Jace is going to go up to 7. This time Fate Seal is going to be on Castor. There's lightning bolts, there's forced bolts. There's the possibility of Fire Blast and Red Elemental Blast. The Ancient Grudge is gone. Delver.
That second Delver is going to be quite problematic. Kenny Castor being a really cool character. I mean, a lot of guys would be slamming into the red zone with their first Delver, especially knowing the second Delver was coming behind it, or sorry, with the Insectile Aberration, knowing the second one was coming behind it. But
Martell is drawn into his fourth Brainstorm of the final game. And Swords to Plowshares. Dispenses with Insectile Aberration. Back we go. Jace the Mind Sculptor at 9.
You know, as Jace got going in the high numbers last game, I was wondering if there's some value to its ultimate.
Exile all cards from target player's library, then that player shuffles his or her hand into his or her library. I think you could say there's some value to that.
And I'm pretty sure Kenny Castor's aware of that.
Delver. No. Tom Martell.
I think those are 3 lightning
Is he?
bolts.
Okay.
Because they're all white bordered.
Okay. Jace has hit 13. Fate Seal Caster again. Leave it there. Oh. So, we get the final crack from Kenny. Go and send something else to the top rather than something he knows that Martell's happy for him to have. Do you have to start bolting Jace?
I
Or
don't.
do you just bolt Martell to the face repeatedly and?
I mean, I don't think you can let.
But then you have no hand when Jace goes ultimate next turn.
Yeah, I think one of those bolts has got to hit Jason.
So there's a lightning bolt. Where has it gone? There are life totals being written down there, I do believe. Did we see one earlier in the game, or is there one more lightning bolt for him to
There is one more lightning bolt.
potentially draw? As we
Because
know,
it was on the bottom of his library when he picked it up.
okay. As we know, there's a Swords to Plowshares there. Martell apparently is at 8.
How did it get from 12 to 8 on the lightning bolt?
Something missed earlier, maybe? Sounds like just having confirmed. So this lightning bolt is going to take 3 counters away from Jace the Mind Sculptor, which, on the one hand, denies the ultimate, but on the other hand, that's 3 damage Tom Martell didn't take.
Which is a significant portion of his life total right now.
I'm sure that pleases him mightily. Brainstorm number 4 resolves for Martell.
And we know Kenny Castor has a force of will and enough mana to hardcast it.
I really think Tom Martell's going to get there. Put it back to 12. Fate Seal you, leave it there. Kenny can go through the Scalding Tarn rigmarole once again, which is exactly what he's going to do. What would I have had? Oh, well actually,
It was the land.
yeah, and that's the land that I'm going to get with my Scalding Tarn.
Well, it's a tension-filled final game.
Isn't it just?
It's not the big haymakers of the high tide deck swinging back and forth, but it's nonetheless very. You could strike a chord on this match.
Yeah. And if Jace the Mind Sculptor goes ultimate to win the tournament, fundamentally, for Martell,
Yeah.
be extraordinary.
There's the reveal of the Insectile Aberration.
Yeah. which seems like Martell is fine with. Brainstorm. Looks like a Tarmogoyf, another Tarmogoyf, and a land.
A couple Tarmogoyf could change the math of this match pretty fast.
Yeah.
Because especially with the Force of Will backup.
Yep. It's an Intuition in hand for Martell, along with Jitty, Lingering Souls, Swords to Plowshares, some counter magic.
And another Jace.
Tarmogoyf. Martell looks through 7 cards. It's very, very big. Does he want to have a fight? There he is. Okay, alright, it resolves. Back to Martell we go. He's drawn a Thoughtseize, first time we've seen that. Not sure he wants to go from 8 to 6, necessarily here.
No, that puts him... I think that puts him way too close to the danger zone.
As a little by the by, he can, of course, Swords to Plowshares one of his own men for a single point of life gain, which could take him from a dead to a not dead. Jace. Ultimate.
And there's the stifle. Now we have a battle?
One would think.
I mean...
Activated or triggered.
Kenny certainly saw that coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Over many turns.
It looks cool. It actually looked like he was trying to look away from Tom to not give him any tells.
Swords to Plowshares, Tarmogoyf.
Castor goes up to 27 on his Tarmogoyf.
Is that? Is the Tarmogoyf actually gone? Yeah, there we go. Seems better. You gain 6, and you can keep your Tarmogoyf. No.
And Stifle's still on the stack, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Kenny was kind of hoping that it had resolved, but Tom's going to think a little bit about that.
Oh, so that Stifle
Did resolve.
Yeah, right. So that happened? Yes, it did. I'll make a Jace the Mind Sculptor. I will Fate Seal you. Let's try again. It's at 5. But you know what? Kenny could be really close to getting there again. Every time you think it's gone one way, he's got a Lightning Bolt.
Well, I was never so sure that Tom was quite back in the match yet.
Well, quite nailed it down, sure. But
well, no, I felt like he's been on the ropes the entire time.
Okay, all right.
I mean, he's gotten closer to equilibrium.
It felt to me when he had, like, Jace at 11 and 7 cards in hand. So now, Lightning Bolt takes out... Wowee! Here we go again.
That's a good turn. That's a good turn for Kenny right there.
Is it ever? Tom's drawn Ponder.
Now, obviously, he can bounce something with Jace.
Kenny's got 1 card in hand.
Is that a Snapcaster in the bottom of his hand? It is.
Yes. What an epic encounter. 27-8, 1-1. I think about the only thing we haven't seen this weekend is poison.
Yeah. So 6 cards to 1 is a significant advantage for Tom Martell. But he's staring down lethal damage on the board. Kenny CASTOR only has one card, significant upper hand, in the permanents.
So, Ponder resolves.
Caracas.
Huh? Which Martell will lay.
I mean, if he's going to swords the Tarmogoyf, does he just do it now?
He's got lingering souls. He can make 4 of those. He can. Oh. So where does Jace go from here? 5 goes to 4. Tarmogoyf goes back to CASTOR's hand. Now, of course, he's got Thoughtseize.
And he's got that, right.
Well, so... No, he's just going to go, let's make 4 guys. But I'm going to daze the next one. Okay, so right now, Insectile Aberration could trade with the 2 Lingering Souls tokens. CASTOR can replay Tarmogoyf. Like that. CASTOR will lay his final card.
Now things are swinging. I've swung back the other way, and I honestly think now Tom has gained the advantage. He's got all his cards in his hand.
Yep.
He's got the Jace. He knows exactly what he can do anything he wants to unmolested here by Kenny CASTOR. I'd love big momentum swings like this.
Just crazy magic. 8:45 at night here in Indianapolis. If you are watching us live in Europe, my hat's off to you and I thank you for being in the middle of the night into Monday morning.
And I think you've gotten rewarded by watching very engaging magic. This is this game.
CASTOR was a perish away
He was.
from the whole thing. And now Martell, 6 cards in hand. Jitty, Stoneforge Mystic, Thoughtseize, Intuition, Snapcaster Mage. Where does Jace go from 4? Upwards.
Well,
Does Jace not go to 6 there? He appears to have moved it from 4 to 5 to Fate Seal. Maybe I just can't see the 6th hip.
no, that's definitely a 5.
Yeah, and there we go.
Yep.
Yep.
So, Tom Martell, also a steely character.
So Snapcaster obviously flashes back Swords to Plowshares to take out the Tarmogoyf. Kenny, lots of life, not necessarily relevant. Omazawa's Jitty.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't have had the courage to let Kenny draw a card.
But he jaced, didn't he?
Yeah.
He Fate Sealed.
I think I might have just kind of panicked a little bit and bounced the Insectile Aberration, played the Thoughtseize.
Just in case he could do something hideous to me.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
But again, that's why Tom's playing in the finals of a GP and is at one time, and maybe even now, I haven't seen the rankings in a while, one of the top rank, the top ranked player in the world.
Right.
Flashback on the Ancient Grudge.
So Jitty goes away. Jace, the new Jace, the Mind Sculptor. Because remember, the last one got to Ultimate and got stifled. Now go up to 8. And Martell. Cast Stoneforge Mystic. Has a look through. he's going to find nothing because he's done all that, but he still has a look. Reminds himself exactly what's left.
There is, of course, a lot of chatter in the Twitterscape.
Yep.
I will repeat one from a PVDDR
Okay.
that says, "Can we please stop saying mongoose? Thank you."
We're getting English lessons from Paolo. You're lucky you're in Brazil, my friend. I'm going to have words with you later. In English.
All right.
Yeah, we missed you this weekend, Paolo. Congratulations on a great season already. Hope study's going well. We'll see you again very soon.
I don't think it's just the cold in this room that's got me slightly shivering.
Yeah.
I think
Jace at 10.
this is a fantastic example of watching a great Magic player play Magic.
Snapcaster attacks. Caster back down into the 20s. Intuition meets the hard cast force of will.
Kenny Castor looks his motion there looks a little tilty to me.
Well,
He could be on the verge of losing his focus.
could be on the verge of losing his match.
Well, now
Lingering Souls, Flooded Strand. You're going to give me Flooded Strand. This is fine. Lingering Souls is going to give me many more men. Jace the Mind Sculptor at 10. Caster, 2 cards. His exiled pile is starting to resemble a graveyard. The game's been going that long. And I believe that long before his life total reaches 0, Jace may deliver the ultimate coup de grace. Martell untaps at a speed reminiscent of a man who knows he's about to win a title. In comes Batterskull, Germ, and Snapcaster.
big life swing for Tom Martell. He's out of
Jace goes to
bolt
12.
range. He's got control over what Castor is going to draw. This has been a remarkable comeback in this match.
Yes. Leave it there. Pass the turn. Castor
There's the scoop.
scoops up his permanence.
Tom Martell.
And Tom Martell is the champion. And finally, oh boy.
What a weekend.
Tom Martell of the United States with Jace at 12, with Lingering Souls all over the graveyard, with all 4 brainstorms during the game. Drew Levin comes in.
Again, stealing. Nerves of steel.
There you see the brackets. And we have a champion for Grand Prix Indianapolis 2012, and that champion is Mr. Tom Martell.
Well, you know, you tuned into GG's Live this weekend. I think you really got your money's worth. Exciting match, and then in the top 8. I mean, he's a turn from dead. He's a turn from out.